Well, joining me now to discuss the new system is Onur Erim. Onur is a political analyst and writer specializing in Turkish and U.S. politics. Thanks so much for coming in. So the referendum that ultimately changed Turkey's political system, we remember it caused some pretty serious controversy. There was a lot of talk about it creating a presidency that was just too powerful. But how much do you think the system has actually been able to prove itself democratic in the months that it's been instituted?
Well, obviously, every democracy's strive is to get as close to direct democracy as possible, which is pretty much technically impossible, or maybe in years to come with technology, it will be. But it's one of those tools that you want to get as close to it as possible. I believe the genetics of the Turkish Turkish people were not that much cooperative with the parliamentary system. It has taken us throughout about 80 years. It has gotten us thus far, but it had stopped. And it's not only about President Erdogan. This has been a long story in Turkey, even since Atatürk. He has mentioned about this. Menderes was eminent about it. Özal was a big believer in it. Late Erbakan was a big believer in it. Late Demirel was a big believer in it. As I'm talking, I keep saying late because it's been a historical thing that people talked about in Turkey. How far are we there? On the executive side, transition, as we expected, has been pretty quick.
Okay.
Does it have some ways to go? Yes, it does. What we're lacking is people's understanding of the system and people actually using the system to get close to politics, to get close to governance.
Okay. I mean, give us an example, if you can, of what's been done more efficiently since this system was inaugurated.
Well,
what tangible things can you point at and say, this is how it's working?
On the executive side, we have seen a number of things, but this, in the beginning, people attributed this to the way President Erdogan is characterized, usually, that he's a hands-on president, he does things right away. But we see that system is picking up very quickly right now. We have no more levels of bureaucracy from any level of bureaucratic process within ministries to the president. Now we have a system that channels are way open and pretty quick. Now, that's on the executive side. And a lot of people attribute this to the way President Erdogan usually acts anyway. But let's look at the other side. For the first time in history, and I think there's been either 3 or 4 thus far, laws that were passed in the parliament that had nothing to do with the executive power.
Okay.
The one that people will pick up right away is, in about 2 weeks ago, the chairman of the parliament, Mr. Binali Yildirim, has introduced a law to, I think, get rid of a lot of people were affected by, the fines that were implemented for the passages on the Bosphorus bridges.
Okay.
Now, first time ever, a law that was passed that relieved about 300,000 people that were affected.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with the executive power.
Okay.
Now, we are seeing the presidential system's essentials being implemented. As I said, the transition is going to be longer and harder on the public policy side.
Okay, then quickly, if you can. I mean, what about the opposition that says it's the longer-term consequences we have to worry about? It allows one party, one man to stay in power for too long, which inevitably leads to corruption.
Not that I agree with what they're saying, but as a person that has been examining Turkish politics in person for the last 20 years, I could say this at the least. We have suffered as a country for years of not pinpointing a single politician for what was going wrong, because everybody was in a system where each can blame the other. Okay. This went on and on. Well, at least right now we have one person that we could pinpoint. If he does a good job, we'll re-elect him. If he does a bad job, we'll get rid of him.
Okay. Onur, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming in.